Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Facette. On this episode, we get to meet Daniel Rossen. Dan is probably best known as one of the members of indie rock stalwarts Grizzly Bear, one of their singers, chief lyricists, guitarists, general wizards. But now he is coming out with his brand new full-length debut album on his own name, You Belong There. In this chat, Dan and I discuss quite a bit about You Belong There, including some of the ways in which he constructs his often very complex songs, some of the themes behind some of it, as well as how he ended up playing numerous instruments on it, including woodwinds, which he taught himself for this very record. We also talk quite a bit about Grizzly Bear stuff, including when they really broke out in the 2000s. We talk a bit about his other side projects, including Department of Eagles, as well as the very concept of listening to a whole album. What a concept. So thank you for listening, and please enjoy. This is me meeting Daniel Rossen.
Having a day. I'm in my studio, do some work.
Are you someone who's kind of always tinkering away?
No, not necessarily. But I happen right now. I mean, I'm working on some film score stuff, which is kind of exciting. It's different, so that's been keeping me busy. But I mean, I also have a lot of rehearsal to do. Doing that too. I'm getting ready for this tour coming up, so I'm pretty busy right now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a new record coming out really soon, April 8th on Warp. It's called You Belong There. This is your first official full solo album. I know you had an EP a few years back and you've had a couple side projects, but this is sort of the debut full length. How has life been for you over the past couple of years with everything that was going on while also sort of prepping this kind of debut? For someone who's also, years steeped in the process, to say you have a debut, it seems a little bit silly, but
that wasn't really my choice of phrasing. It's kind of funny to me, but I mean, I guess it's technically true. I've never done full length, so
solo debut.
Sure, yeah,
ish.
I don't love that framing, but I get why it's being used. I mean, the last couple of years, they've been hard on everybody, I'm sure, and I've been living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I have a young child. I have a 3-year-old, and I also have a immunocompromised father-in-law. So we're like right in the pocket of like we can't escape in the pandemic lifestyle. So it's been a challenge, juggling our schedules and spending a lot of time at home with the fam, and it's intense. It's exhausting, and I especially trying to work on this record it's a lot of burning the candle at both ends, I guess, and working at night and just being tired all the time. But I'm sort of used to that. And in a way, it was like an extra bit of pressure, like having this kind of new chapter of life. In some ways, I think it pushed me to finish this in a way that I really maybe wouldn't have if I was just drifting around, free of obligations like I was previously. So,
I mean, did all the sort of COVID stuff hitting the fan, did that happen first, or was the record already kind of in the works?
It was already in the works. I mean, some of this stuff has been in process for a long time. I was actually trying to schedule studio time in LA for I think basically March of 2020. I was like, okay, I'll go out there and I'll just work a bunch and hire some string players and put all this stuff together. And then, everything fell apart. And at that point, I started, I guess, reworking a lot of the material and then learning. I picked up some other instruments. I started learning, woodwinds and stuff, and just playing the parts myself and reworking the material. And a lot of new songs came about after that time. So in a way, I think it was fine. It was sort of, this is how it happened, and I'm perfectly happy with the way it happened. But yeah, it definitely drew out the process even more.
So did you end up playing all the parts on the record?
No. I mean, all the drums you hear that's Chris Bear from the band. I played almost everything. I did hire a bassoonist named Amber Wyman, and she played on a few songs in LA. And actually John Dietrich from Deerhoof, who used to live in New Mexico, he left, but he was a friend, and he played guitar on the title track. And Jeremy Barnes, actually, who also lives in New Mexico. This should all be in the press release, but maybe you haven't seen that yet. This guy Jeremy Barnes, he was Hawk and Hacksaw, and really long time ago was in Neutral Milk Hotel. He also lives in New Mexico, and he played some Santur on one of the tracks, which, you know, like a kind of like Middle Eastern hammer dulcimer thing.
Yeah, sure, why not?
It was kind of like, why not? He was like, I was working on some songs, and I went to Albuquerque, and we visited them, and it was like, why don't we try playing on something? And it was like very early in the process, so he's on one tune. But other than that, yeah, I played essentially everything else.
Yeah, and I mean, these songs are pretty ornate, so that's kind of why I asked that question, because there are so many layers to the songs on this record. I was listening to it this afternoon, and I mean, Grizzly Bear isn't exactly known for not having layers to your songs. I mean, you guys stack layer on layer on layer usually, but that is something that when you're now breaking away into this, you know, quote unquote solo territory, it makes me wonder, how could someone play all the layers? But I guess you didn't. You played a lot of them. But
I mean, yes, I played most of them. I just wanted to be clear to credit people where credit is due.
Sure, no, of course,
important. But yeah, no, I mean, layering like that is part of the way I build songs. That's, you know, it's integral to Grizzly Bear, and it's integral to a lot of my music too. I mean, it happened to be that EP that I released was definitely significantly less layered, and that was kind of part of it. I think that was kind of intentional. It was kind of part of the point of that particular release, which was now 10 years ago, was like trying to do more direct songwriting or something. But that's not really, you know, that's not generally how I work. Like I'm not really like a typical songwriter in that old-fashioned way. I feel like my strength is more just like building sonic worlds, not really writing songs. And that's, you know, I just went all in on this record and built them out as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty clear here. I mean, with Grizzly Bear, there's several voices. I mean, that literally and figuratively kind of in the mix. Versus here, it's really just, you know, you who's in charge of it. So I think that comes across because you have some songs on there, like the title track, that are sort of short and a little bit like ambient leaning almost.
Yeah.
And then you have the really long, robust tracks, like the last, the ones towards the end, like I'll Wait for Your Visit. So yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you're not a traditional songwriter, but you know, that's all right.
Yeah. And I mean, I think part of the thing about this record is like, I feel like the stakes are kind of low now in a way, as being an older guy, and I'm not really part of any current cultural discourse anymore. So I kind of do whatever I want. And I think that's why you got things like the title track is something that, you know, that actually originated from a piano part that I played in high school that I had recorded. And then I kept it in college. It actually was the original line of that song was just the piano part from the song Sailing by Night, the Department of Eagle song from a million years ago. And I had taken that part and like run it through a granular synthesizer in college, and it turned into this big noise scape. And I kept that lying around for years, and I've unearthed it for this record. And then I scored instruments to the whole thing. Like, it's just like certain songs on this record have just gone through so many strange iterations and span like my whole life in a way that I don't know. Yeah. It's a strange collection of songs in a way, I guess.
Yeah. From like every corner of your life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that song always called You Belong There? Is that like a comment on the fact that the song does belong there now?
No. I mean, that song didn't have a title. It didn't have words or a melody until recently. It was just this kind of like soundscape thing. But I always have liked the idea of like taking things that are almost or semi-improvised and then essentially scoring them out and turning them into something sort of chiseled into place, which is what that kind of became. And the lyric to that song is very kind of off the cuff, almost. I mean, I kind of almost made it up on the spot, but I think I chose that title because I felt like there's a lot of themes on the record about, you know, kind of place and displacement and like almost the horror difficulty of distance from being where you feel you should be. And, you know, a lot of the records about my time that I spent living in central New York, like way out in kind of countryside. And kind of searching for a sense of place there and building out home for myself and developing a real relationship with that land, but kind of spinning out and also losing the thread of a lot of my ideas. And I kind of lost track of my own direction in life for a long time. And this record was kind of, for me, a way to put a little capstone on that section of my life, really, and try to make sense of it and make something out of all of it. Because it was kind of like it was like 10 years or so of confusion for me. So anyway.
So this is sort of just like you reconciling all that or attempting to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of these songs have been in development for a while. Some of them are a reflection on that time. But yeah, it's like trying to tie all the threads together and make sense of it in a way that I could. Because, the only other thing I've released in the last decade or so was the Grizzly Bear record, which I didn't actually contribute a lot of songs to.
The Painted Ruins record?
Yeah, I mean, I put some things on there, but they were very, it was very impersonal in a way. Well, at least my own part of that record. So like, I felt like I hadn't really made any kind of statement about where I have been in my life for a long time. So yeah, that was part of the project of this record, was like, how can I do something that really digs into my own life experience and my own history and is more honest and more open in a way. I mean, while also being, I know, very layered. It's not a confessional record or something.
Right. No, it's not your Blue.
No, definitely not. I wish I could do something like that, but that's not where I am in life. But
so you kind of got at my next question. I was going to ask you, why you've been in Grizzly Bear since the mid 2000s. You've probably been making music since before then as well. So why now? Like, why is there a solo Daniel Rossen record now?
Why now? I mean, it's honestly just because that's the circumstances, it's like, I think a lot of it had to do with, I mean, I don't know. Look, I mean, I've been trying to finish something like this for quite a while. I mean, like even the EP, I didn't know if that was going to be a full length or not. It turned into an EP because at the time we were also working on Shields. So a lot of the same crop of songs just went into Shields instead of my own record. So I didn't have, it was like, I was just pushing as much out as I could at that point. And then I kind of spun out for a really long time and I stopped working very consistently on music pretty much from around like 2013 until I guess around the time my daughter was born, which was about 3 years ago. And that was, I don't know, something kind of kicked it into gear where I felt like I was kind of getting frustrated with myself, where I was like, why can you not focus on this anymore? And it was, I think for a long time, I had kind of just over and over again was kind of discouraging myself from taking music seriously anymore. Like I can be very, be self-deprecating. I can be very hard on myself, and I kept finding reasons to quit. And I think at some point I just decided that was stupid and I needed to like finish everything that I had and really try to make something of the threads that I have left in terms of, music and ideas. And thankfully, I think the process of getting through this record kind of gave me a new sense of possibility in what I'm doing. And now I feel like maybe this is just a new chapter. I'm like, I can keep exploring these ideas and just keep going with it. So yeah, I mean, there's no good reason why it's now. It's when it happened.
Yeah. It's just now.
Yeah.
So do you think that the songs that you attach just your name to, do you feel like they come from the same place as the songs you've contributed to Grizzly Bear, or do they feel different to you?
It depends on the song. I mean, there are definitely tunes in Grizzly Bear from the old days that I feel like come from the same place. I mean, the difference is obviously with the band. I mean, I'm not going to minimize the big contributions of everybody else. That's huge, but also there's much less focus. There was always much less focus in Grizzly Bear on like personal narrative, and I've never necessarily loved that in music. But making a solo record, it's easier for me to like, I can talk about it in terms of my own life instead of sort of shrouding everything in talk of collaboration and whatever else. That was kind of how we talked about our music as a band. But I mean, something like Sleeping Youth was a very personal song to me, or something like Little Brother, or there's all kinds of songs in Grizzly Bear that were very close to my heart and in my life, but we just didn't talk about them in the same way. But yeah, I mean, doing my own record, I have the ability I can dig as far as I want into my own experience, and it's it can be very claustrophobic to work alone. It's very confusing. And not having other people to bounce ideas off of is very challenging and sometimes really frustrating. But it's been a learning experience. I hope to make more collaborative records in the future. I mean, I would love to work with those guys again. I don't know. We never know what will happen, but
yeah. That's kind of, I think, the impression a lot of, maybe it's the correct impression that a lot of people have, is like Grizzly Bear is kind of this, revolving organism that just like, when it happens kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's always how it was. This is definitely the longest kind of hiatus time we've had. And I don't know how long it will be, but we did have a good solid 14 years of working pretty consistently. So it's not bad.
Yeah. And it's not. And I mean, you guys have obviously have made records that people really cherish. So, I mean, that's not nothing.
Yeah. Right. I hope so. Yeah.
And you mentioned something I'm gonna circle back to. You mentioned something a bit before, how you feel like your stakes for your solo efforts are sort of low because, as you said, like you're not really part of a critical conversation that's happening right now.
Yeah.
But Grizzly Bear kind of was. So, I mean, is that something that you've kind of noticed shift for you or the band over time? Because when Yellow House and later then Vicatamest came out, I mean, that was like the prime time of sort of blogosphere, like all that indie rock coverage that kind of bloomed out of the 2000s. And now, I mean, Painted Ruins got pretty good reviews and Shields got pretty good reviews, but you're right that like, you're kind of like a legacy guy now.
Yeah.
So is that something you were aware of, or is it something you kind of became aware of on the other side?
I mean, it was I certainly I became aware of it. I mean, it was a slow transition in certain ways. It's not like I was always thinking about that. But no, I mean, I'm very aware of the fact that our band is kind of like of another era now. We're like from some time of like millennial excess or something in the middle. Like it's
like the same vein as like Wolf Parade too. Like, still ongoing, but really was part of that conversation then. And now everyone's talking, like the conversation is about other bands, even though those bands are still happening.
Yeah. I mean, but
it's a strange thing though. I mean, it's a strange thing.
It's a strange thing, but it's just how the world works. I mean, I don't know. You think about any other time in music. I mean, that's the amount of time that has passed between when like Yellow House is out and now, and you like take that time frame and switch it back to like the 50s and 60s, and you think about the discourse thing. It's like it's totally natural for people to move on, and I think I'm perfectly comfortable being in a period of my life and career that's like, well, I'm getting older, and like the challenge now is to not make a bunch of garbage in my like late career, which I think a lot of people do, and it's like now is the time of life where you're like batting away all your terrible ideas and like trying to still make something valuable to yourself and like it has to have meaning within the context of your own life and in your own work, and I think that's important. I think that's important for every musician, no matter what phase of their career they're in, whether they're successful or not. Like I think you have to hold on to what your work means in your own context, because almost nobody can maintain like being in some kind of critical discourse or spotlight their whole life. I mean, or even at all. I mean, even getting that time at all is an immense privilege and special whatever experience. And like, if you put too much value on that, I mean, you'll never survive. You'll just quit. So I feel like it's important to like, I think it's important to be humble and like keep yourself interested in art and music and everything else in culture, just for the sake of being engaged in it. I mean, that's the only way you can make anything valuable, is like keep your head in the right place.
Yeah. And there is this sort of, greater conversation that people love to have about, the era of streaming and how no one listens to records anymore, which of course is not fully true, but
of course not. Yeah.
It's hyperbole, but there is a grain of truth to it that a lot of people do have trouble listening to whole albums now. And Grizzly Bear is not, and your solo work for that matter too, is not like, 3-minute snappy pop song. So
no, very much
I
not.
think that era has shifted, but there are still people, including yourself, that are making full record statements that are, ornate and deliberate and,
Yeah.
you're able to do it for a lot of reasons. One of which is probably because of your legacy status. Like you said, you can kind of do whatever you want at this point. I don't think anyone's going to bat an eye. But also just because you just do it. Like a lot of people I think are just simply not doing that anymore.
Yeah, no, I know. I've noticed that. It's kind of all I really know. That's the thing. It's not even just like I'm a legacy artist. I'm just like, that's what I grew up on. I don't know. Like I would sit around and listen to CDs as a teenager and listen from front to back. And like, I really value when people put craft into the track list and they link things together. I mean, like I just love that. But I mean, I understand, yes, like the era of the album is done. And like, that was a specific time. Like that was relatively recent, even that like building albums, it was not something that people did, in the 50s really, or even early 60s like that. That's a more recent idea. Yeah. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy other ways of making music. I mean, it's not like I'm not like, I don't have any opposition to like singles and that mentality. I think that's fine. But it's just never what I've done.
I am curious about the kind of music that today's like teenagers will end up making. Like when they're older. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But yeah,
maybe they'll be grand concept albums. I don't know.
Maybe they will. I mean, it is like the habit now, so for some people to release like 28 song records because and there's like half of them are 30 seconds long because they get a lot of streams. But that's a very cynical way of looking at it.
Sure. Or records that are like 15 minutes long, which in a way,
that's like a thing
I wish
too.
I could have done that. Like, I just didn't realize that was an option.
I was just reading a review of the new Keely Forsyth record, which is like 27 minutes long. I'm like,
right. Yeah, there you go.
When did this happen? Like, I feel like this was like an older thing that went away for a while and is now kind of coming back. Right. Hip hop too. I know there were a few years in the 2010s where there were all those rap albums that were like exactly 29 minutes long or something. Yeah, right. It's like, I don't know. It's so interesting to me, but I digress.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
So, you've mentioned that some of these songs on You Belong There are pretty old. I'm sure some are quite a bit newer. But it still sounds unmistakably like you. So I'm curious then how you mentioned you sort of improvised a little bit for the title track. Is that a way you typically would work? Like, because you have these shorter songs like that or Celia. And then the 6-minuters, I think you just put out the single of Unpeopled Space, which is over 6 minutes long. Yeah. So are you someone who just kind of lets, a single, are you someone who just kind of like lets the song go until it feels like a stopping point has been arrived at? Do you sort of improvise to write?
I don't know. I don't know that I would. I mean, improvise to write. I don't know quite how you explain that. I mean, there's a gray area in between those two modes that is the actual writing of music, and I don't really know how to explain what that is. Yeah. But I mean, no, I certainly don't set out like I want this to be a 3 minutes. So like I know some people can do that, but I don't know. I don't work like that. If it happens to be 6.5 minutes, I'm like, 6.5 minutes. I don't know. Like that happened on Shields. I mean, for some reason at that time, it was like Smothering Green and like what was that? And Sun in Your Eyes. Like songs that just ended up being like 7-8 minutes for some reason, and I don't know why, but it just was happening. I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of follow ideas where they go. I think some of these
guitar always.
No. Okay. No. I mean, like Unpeopled Space. Yeah. I mean, that was definitely something that I played out in full on the guitar. And I didn't really connect all the pieces until I performed that on this like live stream thing a couple years ago. And like, that was actually what solidified the form of the song. It was like getting it ready to perform for something. And I sort of built it out from there. But I don't know, every song happens kind of differently. Like there's a song on there called Tangle that I kind of I would say I sort of improvise. I mean, not improvised. I mean, I wrote it very quickly on the piano. So I wrote it very quickly on the piano, and I recorded the form of it very quickly on the piano, and then I built it out from there. So, but I wouldn't quite call that improvising because it was not like that.
It's not like you're ad-libbing in the moment.
No, I mean, almost nothing. I really don't do almost anything that way. But I mean, You Belong There, even that song it's not really improvised exactly. It's like, it was a part that was played that then went through the kind of random reorganizing of a granular synthesizer. And then from there, I scored very deliberate parts on top of that. So it's like not actually really improvised at all.
Yeah.
And the randomness came from a computer, not from me. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Tangle as well, because I think Tangle, I wrote a note for myself, is the strangest song on the record, I think.
That's the newest song on the record. So.
Is it? I think that maybe that makes sense then. I mean, it almost to me, like I was listening to it just now on my car ride back from work, and I was like, this sounds like Scott Walker or something. Like,
that's cool.
Like, just like there's like an eeriness to that song and just such a oddness to that song that I feel like isn't quite like any of the other tracks around it, but it's a very cool sonic experience.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm really I that's one of my personal faves, but maybe that's because it's one of the newer ones, so it's more interesting too.
I mean, have you figured out a way to play most of these live yet, or is that kind of what you're figuring out?
No. I mean, the first tours I'm doing, I'm just playing by myself on stage. So some of this stuff I really just can't do alone in a way that would be interesting. I would say but there's about 5 songs on the record I am going to be able to do in a I think compelling way alone. I mean, actually, Tangle is one of them. I've been sort of like working on it as just like a solo piano thing, and it's kind of cool actually. So it's hard. I'll probably screw it up every time I perform it, but. Yeah, I'm working that out. I mean, the nice thing about this tour, and like, I don't know, I have such a big back catalog of material that I've kind of like barely performed. So
you mean like non-Grizzly Bear songs?
Yeah, I mean, there's
just
so
like
many
your songs. Yeah,
just either songs that I didn't release that people know, or like there's EP stuff which I performed a tiny bit in 2014, but like no other time. There's all the old Department of Eagles songs. There's so much material that I can still do, and it's really actually fun for me to play alone or play at all, because it's it never had a life on the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be about half this record I can do by myself, I think, but we'll see.
Did Department of Eagles ever tour?
Barely.
Okay.
We did like 8 or 10 shows in the US and like a couple really mellow shows in Europe. We didn't really want to tour, and I was also that record came out right as we were finishing Becatimist. So like I just didn't have time. Like there was no way for me to possibly devote any touring time to that project. Like it was just impossible. So because all that was like a very busy year.
I was literally just gonna say, because like that the end of the 2000s was this like confluence of multiple things for you, because there was an album, there was Department of Eagles, there was the Blue Valentine soundtrack, like there was a lot of pieces moving, kind of maybe all. Did it feel like it was like all of a sudden? Because that's how it felt.
Not exactly. I mean, no, it didn't feel all of a sudden. I mean, really, the whole span of time, I think, between mid 2005 and 2009, we were just constantly working. I mean, we our whole life, all of our lives were just, I don't know, it didn't even feel that intentional at the time. It was just like, this is what we do. We record music. We're doing this.
Right.
I think it's that push of youth where you're like, you just have this sort of like inherent ambition or something. And I think because it kind of kept building, like as soon as Yellow House came out and did surprisingly, I don't know, pretty well. I don't know. There was just like a momentum that had started. And yeah, between, I guess, mid 2007 and late 2008, I mean, Chris and I especially were just like, well, I mean, Ed too. I'm not going to say that Ed was not working. He was working his ass off. But like, because we did the Department of Eagles record as well, it was like,
oh, were they both in that with you?
Yeah, I mean, they both.
Oh, I actually hadn't realized that.
Yeah, no, they both worked like crazy on that record. I mean, they're all over it. So it was like we were just constantly recording between those. I guess it was just like a period of a year where we just never stopped recording. It didn't really occur to me that it was anything out of the ordinary. It was just like, well, this is what we do. Now it's crazy. I mean, I've slowed down so much. I'm like, God, I can't believe how much we accomplished in that time. And like, I'm definitely, I look back fondly on that time. But yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be another Department of Eagles record?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe never say never. I don't know.
Maybe. Fred and I still talk, and he still writes music on his own. I really don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it could happen. It's been so long that it seems almost funny. Like,
right?
What would that even be?
Yeah. When we scheduled this, I was talking in the Beats per Minute chat. I was like, does anyone have anything they want me to ask Dan? And they were like ask about Department of Eagles. It's been a long time.
I mean, who knows? I mean, we did do. I don't know if you saw that. Like, there's that record store day thing casually that I put out a few years ago. It had like the song Deer Slayer, and then it had a song on the B side that was called "You're Crossing a River," which is a song of Fred's from his solo project that I then rearranged and added parts to. It's like technically that was basically the same thing as it was the exact same process. It's like how In Your Park was made, and it turned out really cool. Like I think it's really, I really like it actually. So I mean, I don't think it's impossible. That was only a few years ago. I don't know why it couldn't happen on the span of a whole record.
Right. Just like if it happens, it happens.
I mean, he's, everybody has different projects in life, and he's working on other things too. I mean, we talk about it sometimes. I think it'd be interesting to try. I wonder what it would be.
I know, because it's been so long that it may not be at all like it was. Maybe something entirely new.
One would hope,
So you were aware then at this time, like when you say like the Fire of Youth and all that, were you guys aware that Yellow House was doing well? Were you like aware of this was there like a newfound pressure to create or to keep working, or did you just kind of keep doing it?
I wouldn't say there was pressure exactly, but I mean, I think the period before, it was so quick. It was so fast.
Yeah, it was.
But we certainly noticed it. We were touring like all the time between, or it felt like all the time between 2005 and 2007. And, some of those tours were really tough, and there was a lot of sleeping in the van and like, shows for 10 people. And like, yes, we noticed a shift once that record came out. All of a sudden we were able to do a tour in the US that actually came out. We came out making a tiny bit of money. It was like enough for me to like finally get an apartment. I was like sleeping on people's floors. I was sleeping on people's floors and like in the van in Brooklyn in 2006. So like, yeah, there was a market difference when that happened. And I don't know, I think we were too young to think about it too much. It was just kind of like, oh wow, this is incredible. Like this is actually working. But like, I think we would have kept going anyway, because we were really, I don't know. I mean, we were pretty passionate about what we were doing, like, I think that's why it worked for the time anyway. At least, when things were really working, when the chemistry was really good, it was kind of effortless or it felt that way to me, I think. For those years. And like, I would say the pressure mounted, right before Becca Timmis came out. There was like, we opened for Radiohead on some of their shows. And that was a big pressure moment. There was a lot of expectation that Becca Timmis it was supposed to be something, and it did pretty well. And there was definitely pressure that started mounting that changed the way we work together. I mean, that's true. But that was a different period.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask, because I for somehow, even though I've more or less been listening to Grizzly Bear for most of probably half my life at this point, I did want to ask, because you guys, I had not realized you had been signed to Warp for quite a while, and now your solo record is coming on Warp, and so I was surprised, because for me, like, with my passing knowledge of Warp, I associate it with things like Flying Lotus and like One O Tricks Point Never and Autechre and like these really dense, weird electronic acts. So how did you guys in Grizzly Bear, and now you again with your solo work, how did you link up with a label more known for that stuff? Or was it kind of just happenstance?
Well, we sent Yellow House out all over the place. And I mean, they also put out things like Broadcast, which, you know, we love. I think didn't they do Stereolab too? I think they did. But yeah, I mean, we like, at the time, we actually really liked the fact that Warp came from such a different angle. And I think we were kind of surprised maybe at the time that they were so into Yellow House. I mean, the guy that was running Warp was working there at Warp at the time. That was our connection. I mean, he now works at 4AD, and I think he has sort of different tastes than a lot of people at Warp, I guess. But we really like the fact that Warp is not, you know, what was not like a folk label or something, because I think around 2005 we actually really didn't want to get lumped in with like the freak folk world. Even though I love a lot of that music. I mean, I don't know. I think Joanna Newsom is fucking amazing. Like, she's a legend. But at the time, we didn't really want to get stuck in that world, you know? Yeah. I think we liked the idea of like, oh, we're going to make this strange layered, you know, very dense layered, but acoustic record. And it's going to come out on Warp, which is this like IDM label. Like, that's cool. Right. And I mean, I'm still working with them now just because I know them all very well. I really love those guys. I think they're really great. I don't know, they still consistently put out interesting stuff. You know, so that Mel Synthro record is super beautiful. I'm like, I don't know. I just think they have an interesting ear. And I think I'm just like lucky. I'm lucky enough to just get grandfathered in, basically. Like, I don't think they'd be looking at my music otherwise if I didn't have that history with them. So, like, if this was the first we'd ever heard of you, they might have been like, I think they would have definitely passed. But, you know, because I have a long history with them and we know each other, and I'm very glad to get to stay in their family, you know? Yeah. And it's kind of like a homecoming because Painted Ruins was not on Warp. And now you're sort of back with Warp, which must be kind of nice. It's nice for me. I mean, I was never a big fan of that move. I didn't think it was the right choice at the time. And I think it proved to be kind of the wrong choice in a lot of ways. I mean, they're perfectly nice, but we're too idiosyncratic of an act, I think, to make sense of RCA. It was just too strange. And you know, that's a good way to put it, because I mentioned all those weird electro bands like Autechre who are very idiosyncratic. Right. So it's like, even though you guys were or are very mostly acoustic based, not using a ton of electronics, certainly not IDM. Yeah. There is a layered, there is a layered, meticulous, like you say, idiosyncratic vibe that you guys have. So maybe it's not such a strange fit after all in some respects. I think that's true. I mean, and I think especially as they expand, you know, I think it's become clear that, totally. I think the kind of like layered sort of, I don't know, artists that work in their own sort of unique space, and using recording as, you know, part of your creative palette, I guess. I feel like that's a through line in a lot of Warp's releases. You know, it's not just all electronic. It's like, it's just not it's not only about like capturing the sound in the room. It's like not someone with an instrument playing and singing. It's like, how do you use in the recordings you make to build the worlds that you're making? Like, I don't know. I definitely think there's still a connection there, but no, I don't think they'd be paying attention to my record if it wasn't for our history. That's for sure. But I'm very glad to be with them. Yeah, and they're a good label, so you could do way worse, I'm sure. Yeah. So you've mentioned that Tingle. Did you say Tingle's the newest song on the record? Yes, it is. So, like, how new are we talking? How new are we talking? Like about a year. Well, let's see. Something about a year old. I mean, there was a long delay to get this thing out, so I finished it a while ago. It's bad. Was there a period where like you thought the record was done, but it kept getting delayed, so you just kept writing? No, not well. I mean, there was the period where I was going to go to LA and try to record a bunch of things, and that got delayed. No, I mean, the mixing process was super long, and I did tweak things a little bit in that time because mixing got all sideways. Again, this is like pandemic stuff where it's like trying to work from afar, and it's super difficult to communicate, you know, details of a record like this when someone's trying to mix it from. I was like, that was really hard, and I kept going back, you know. So in that time, there was some tweaking. But then, I mean, the record's been done. Pretty long time. I mean, it's just, you know, it's the same old boring story, but vinyl delays that just changes the schedule for everything. So I suppose so. This could have come out earlier, maybe, if that wasn't happening. I mean, the intention originally was that it was going to come out like last October. I am glad that didn't happen because of Omicron. So in a way, I'm like, oh, I guess it's better. At least this way I can probably tour without immediately getting sick and going home. But
yeah, we should mention when about does your tour start?
It starts at the end of March. I think the first date's like the 28th or 27th or 28th of March.
Well, assuming things don't just balloon and get terrible.
I know.
You'll probably, hopefully, be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't caught it yet. I've honestly been feeling.
No, me neither. And I'm shocked because I'm a teacher, so I'm in I'm in schools every day, but I have not caught it. I know.
That's quite incredible, actually. Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like I almost wish I could just like deliberately catch it right now, so I just get it over with, and then when I get on the road, it's like, okay, cool, I'm in the clear. Like,
yeah, well, probably.
Because even if I don't feel really bad, like it just would be so disruptive, you know. Like
I know,
really,
especially because if you tested positive on the road, even if you were asymptomatic, you'd probably have to cancel everything.
Yeah,
right.
Probably, yeah. That's what I assume. It seems like that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Well, I hope things don't go that way, because not only for your tour, but everyone seems to be, at least here in the States, like trying to tour again. I know I have purchased quite a few concert tickets lately, and I'm like really hoping that they don't, go south. I'm supposed to see Perfume Genius next month.
Oh, nice.
I just wanted to go. I want a little taste of it to come back to normal.
I know. We all want our lives back. I get it. I feel the same way.
I mean, you're touring solo. Do you think would you ever want to tour these songs with the whole band?
Totally. No, I mean, if I can, if that's feasible, and if the record does, I mean, the thing is, it's like, it kind of depends on if the record does okay, which I have no idea, but I mean, if it does okay and there are more shows to play, then like, yeah, I would love to put a band together. It's just, I live in New Mexico. I'm really far from everybody I know that plays anything, and like I can't just like go to LA for 2 months and rehearse a day. Like I just can't do that. I got a family. I can't just leave. So in a way, this is the sensible way for me to tour right now. I mean, I really like playing shows alone, and I think it'll be cool, and I hope people enjoy the experience. It's a very different thing. But no, I mean, down the line, if I can put a little band together, I think that'd be great. I'd love that.
So after about 20 years in the business, almost 20 years, we should say, I'm curious, what still, or what inspires you now? What keeps you sort of going now?
That's a good question.
No pressure. It's just my last question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if anything, it's like there's always some sort of like mystery, I think, to uncover. And I mean, for me, like writing, sometimes I have felt like for a long time, it's like one long ass song that you're still exploring and still trying to understand. And it still kind of feels like that to me. And I think if anything, like what I was saying earlier, this chapter for me now is like, I would like to shake off the kind of constraints and pressures of previous periods of my life, and just like engage with making music in the most, I don't know, honest way that I can, and get as far out there with the ideas as I can. Cause like what else, what do I have to lose? And like that in a way is a really nice approach to music now. And just like, that's why I wanted to get this record finished, put it out there, and then just like keep going and like have it be done already. Cause like there was some pressure, like, because I'd never released a full length. It was like, well, if I'm going to do that, it's got to really mean something, and I do think this record really does mean something. It means a lot to me. And it's like, now I think I can just keep going and keep exploring, and that's it. Like, and as far as a career in music, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know if I'll even be able to sustain that anymore. I really don't know. But
do you have any other marketable skills?
Not really, no. Go back to community college here, though. That's like, just kind of sounds fun. I miss school. I kind of miss it.
Well, as someone who I just finished grad school, and I didn't, I did not take a break between undergrad and grad school. So I've been in school for so many years. Yeah. So as someone who just came off that, like literally this past fall, I'm like, maybe.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. But I'm like, maybe think about that again.
Yeah, right.
But I could see that. I mean, you've been doing music as your career, as your main gig for so long at this point. And frankly doing pretty well. And if that ever stopped, or if you stopped it, like, yeah, I mean, maybe that would be fun. I mean, I've heard that before, that from musicians, that, you know, like, I kind of miss like going to school and like learning stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've toyed with the idea, but that's the thing, is I always end up I come back to this because it's like, well, it's what I've done with my whole adult life, and it's really the only true skill I have. I guess it's even, you can call it a skill. I mean, I don't even know. It's like a practice. It's like, it's what I know. So,
and you still enjoy it.
I do still enjoy it. And I mean, yeah, like working on film score stuff has been interesting. I've never really done that before in this kind of way. And it's a new challenge. Like, I don't know. I'm excited, and I really do feel like there's more to learn and there's more to explore, which I didn't necessarily expect that at this time in life, you know, and really kind of feels true, and it's exciting. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
It's nice when you can sort of surprise yourself almost.
Yeah, totally. For sure.
Well, the record is You Belong There. It's coming out April 8th on Warp. If this is out already, then go listen to it. If it's not out yet, then pre-save it, because I'm not exactly sure when this will come out.
Oh, yeah, right.
But yeah, April 8th, You Belong There by Daniel Rossen. Thank you very much, Dan, for talking to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Great. Well, have a good one.